Wanted to talk today about loving service versus bartering service. And loving service is going to be freedom based, and bartering service is going to be bondage. And I got some notes here. You should see me looking down. Now, many years I was in bondage, and this is my own experience too. So take it for what it's worth. But I called it service, but I was really in bondage. It wasn't from a loving, abundant place. It wasn't from freedom. It was from me trying to be worthy, trying to earn love, trying to get something from another a lot of times. And it showed up for me in everything, my occupation and in my relationships and in my my romantic special relationships as well. So I really felt that I needed to save another to be worthy of their love. And so what I'd like to propose is a couple thoughts, is am I engaging in loving service, or am I hoping for a relationship? Because these are two different things. So if I'm engaging in loving service, pay attention to what you're requiring back. Are you bartering to get something from them, or are you truly giving, requiring nothing back at all? So that's the loving service question. Am I in loving service? But maybe you're thinking of relationship. Like, I do want to have a relationship. I want to have a special relationship. Like, people would think of it as a romantic relationship, but you're thinking about your engagement with another person. And if so, pay attention to both sides, because both sides have to participate, and there are interpersonal qualifications for it to be a real relationship. So let's go back to loving service. Let's talk about bartering service. Here's the difference between bartering and loving service, and I'm going to make some distinctions between the two, and maybe you can see which ones you participate in. So bartering service, which is more of a bondage, you're drawn to save somebody, needing a particular outcome. Versus loving service, you're drawn to suffering. Sometimes you're drawn to the suffering of another without a particular outcome. So bartering service and bondage, you need the particular outcome of them loving you back, or you need them to accept your views. So in a relationship, for example, you jump into someone that's suffering, and in the end, you need them to appreciate you and love you back. And the way that you can tell you want that is you're upset when they don't, and your life is miserable when they don't, and they act a particular way. And you've engaged into this relationship, which may sincerely come from a lovely heart that wants to love, but you can tell that you are actually bartering when you are very upset or miserable when they don't do something, and they don't engage with you in a particular way, and they don't reciprocate the way that you want them to reciprocate. And the reason you're upset is because they're not participating. And so then it's really not loving service. It's more like a bartering. I'm engaging with you so that you can engage with me. Now, that's not bad. Remember, that's not a bad thing, but it's just not pure loving service. Pure loving service is, I'm engaging with you because of love. I have love. I don't need you to love me back. I don't need you to stay with me. I don't need you to like me. I don't need you to agree with me, agree with my politics, agree with my religion, agree with my view of God, agree with anything, right? I love because it's just it's my impulse to love. And I realize the value of just the love has for me. So it's not like it's selfless. It is selfish. I gain a lot from loving service, but I don't need anything from you for me to participate in that way. So that's the first distinction. Second distinction between bartering and true loving service is bartering comes from a place of lack. And once again, please don't think that these things are bad. This is just the human condition. It's just important to be aware of these things as we engage, so that we can be free, because freedom's available if we want it. So when I'm bartering, I'm coming from a place of lack, meaning that I think engaging in this bartering, in this love bartering thing, is going to help complete me, or give me something that I don't already have. True loving service comes from a place of abundance, meaning I get that I'm complete. I get that there is a part of me that requires nothing. And at the deepest level, I get that that you can't you can't complete me, because you already are me. We're already a part of the same consciousness. We're already part of the same really creative being. We're already a part of the one. And so to love you is to love me. There's no difference. Like I'm putting a Band-Aid on my pinky. I'm not thinking that my pinky finger, my little finger, is going to give me something that I don't already have. It already is me. I have a cut. I'm going to take care of it. God bless you. Oh, that's my card. So, drawn to suffering to save, or drawn to suffering as a natural impulse? Are you coming from a place of lack, or coming from a place of abundance? The third thing is bartering service, which is bondage, makes you feel special or better or finally worthy of love. Do you engage with others that are suffering because you want to feel worthy of their love back? One of the things that happened for me was I would do that a lot, and then I would finally feel like I was worthy of their love back when I would go in and save the day and solve problems and tirelessly do whatever. And that, once again, isn't bad. It's just we have to realize that is a fantasy and an idea of me. The idea that if I do something, then I'm worthy of something in return. Versus I'm already abundant. Oh no, my notes shut down here. I am already complete. So I feel either the bondage is I feel special, better, or worthy, but the other part of it is that there is no specialness in me serving, meaning my serving the other is not to make myself feel better or special or worthy. It's just because, once again, it's this impulse to suffering that doesn't need to be there. Like I've cut my little finger and the infection does not need to happen. I'm just going to put some hydrogen peroxide in a Band-Aid. There's no morality in that. There's no bartering with my pinky with that, or my little finger. I just do it because, wow, I can do that. Oh, that feels good. I'm taking care of these things that I can take care of. It's a good, wholesome, wonderful thing. And that's the end of it. So, bartering service comes from a place of separation. It's really, I can see sickness, and it's from a place of sickness and lack. They are sick, they need to be helped, or they lack, or they're bad, like this sickness thing. But loving service comes from a place of abundance. In fact, Jesus saw the sick and the lame as whole already. And in that view, he created the space of wholeness. And people, when they would believe his view that they could be whole, that they are whole, I am whole, I accept your belief of wholeness, they were healed. It was this spiritual blueprint that shifted within them, and the physical outcome, this physical expression of the universe, has to yield to that spiritual blueprint, which supersedes importance from this physical experience that we're having. And so what's your view of others? Are they sick and lame and separate and dumb and unable to take care of themselves and all these things that we label the people around us that we feel like we need to save? Or are they beautiful and perfect and perfectly engaging as expressions of God? And that expression is suffering, and so I'm going to move toward them and love them the best I can. They can, best I can. It's a little bit different. And finally, bartering service, it comes from a place of need. When I'm bartering service and really in bondage, it's because I need recognition. I need self-worth. I need to be recognized. I also need love in return. And so I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to engage in the world in that way. And maybe it does feel good at that beginning, but in the end, I start to need a particular thing back versus a place of abundance. True loving service comes from a place of abundance, which means there's more than enough. There is nothing that is needed in abundance. It's already received. So this Satya Sai Baba was a Indian guru. He said, service without love is deplorable. Service with love is acceptable. Love without service is divine. And so what does that mean, that last part? Service with love is acceptable. I get that. Service without love, deplorable. I get that. Love without service is divine. What do we mean by that? Well, love without service, this idea of I'm giving something to somebody else. I'm putting myself out for somebody else. It's like this service is there. I'm going to give to them, and there is this idea that's automatically associated with I'm going to give to them that they're going to give back. Reciprocity, totally in this whole human nature thing that we're in. But love without service, meaning love and there's nothing else there. There's no outcome needed. It's complete abundance, meaning nothing has to happen. Their view doesn't have to change. Their life doesn't have to change. We're already one. We're in complete abundance. Love, there is no real service in that. It's just this natural impulse of me engaging in life. And whatever happens is perfect. And it's perfect right now. And it's all for me. The universe is always showing up exactly as I need. God is showing up as everything in front of me, exactly as I need at all times. Love without service, that is divine. So that's the loving service part. Now maybe, I want to touch on this briefly, maybe you wanted it as a relationship. So relationships are very simple. As a separate note, relationships as a special relationship for humans, a whole relationship really requires just you loving, you finding out what is important to the other and then supporting them in that. And then the other finding out what's important to you and supporting you in that. That's all a healthy relationship is. And it doesn't even have to be sexual and have those physical proximity. Sexual relationship is lovely. Physical proximity is lovely. But to have a good relationship, it's not even required. What is required to have a good relationship? You find out what's important to them, support them. They find out what's important to you and support them. So this is not the loving service that I was talking about. This is relationship. I want a special relationship. Course in Miracles talks about these special relationships that we have and how we can surrender them eventually. But we're all into these special relationships, the romantic relationships. What people often do, though, is they don't realize that it's both people finding out what the other wants and needs and desires and is important to them and supporting them in it. It's not your job to give it to them. It's your job to support them in it. Hey, I support you. Werner Erhard talked about, I want to be a ballerina and you want to be a rock climber. You know I want to be a ballerina, so you support me in that. And you're like, go for it. Yes, you're going to be a great ballerina. how can I support you? How can I kind of take care of stuff at home or whatever it is, within my means? And then I'm like, you want to be a rock climber? Awesome. I want you to be a rock climber. And so how can I support you? And I don't have to do it for you, but I love that you want that. And maybe we don't even see each other a lot, which is not ideal for most people, I'm sure. But if we both are supporting each other on the things that we love the most, then it's a great relationship, even if we're not near each other. So think about that. And is one person in your supposed relationship supporting the other, and then the other isn't reciprocating? Once again, these are different conversations. It's not bad that happens, but it's not a truly good working relationship. And loving service does not need to be a relationship. So these are all the things, how it all ties in, I believe. And I believe that we're all called, at least those of us on the loving service path, we're called to engage in loving service and forgive all our ideas of how the world should be. Forgive them, let go of those ideas, and completely accept where we're at in these moments right now, which is perfect because God, the universe, has orchestrated, has created this moment for you to forgive and accept and be completely present, to be able to fully give yourself in loving service with nothing required in return, but simply because it's the outpour and the natural response for our true self, our higher self, which wants nothing in return. And when we engage like that, it feels really good. And our biases are overcome, and we become more and more like our Creator, from glory to glory into the image of God.